There we go. Welcome. We are so excited to be here. We are Peter Carlakis.
There we go.
And I'm Kat George. We run Three Rooms Press, and
we're here for Dada. We have a
Dada.
Yearly, an annual Dada journal, Maintenant, that we publish. This will be our 13th edition. It is our 13th edition. Came out in July. And we're so happy to bring it into the world. Of course, this time the world is on lockdown, so we're bringing it into the virtual world for the very first time. And we're also so honored to be presenting to the New York Public Library, an institution to this city that also needs a lot of support, as we do. But especially the NYPL. If you can support the NYPL, please do. And Kat and I have been involved with Dada a long time. We're basically driven by Arthur Cravan, who was a provocateur in 1910, 1912, 13. He published the very first Maintenant zine back in 1913, and he published 6 different editions, but we started with number 2. We gave him number 1, and we went to number 2, and we published 13 since then, and we're up to number 14 at this point. At first, how did we start? When we first started,
we started with just like an 8-page or 12-page hand stapled thing at the wonderful Cornelia Street Cafe. Robin Hirsch, who used to run the Cornelia Street Cafe, the much missed Cornelia Street Cafe, is here tonight. Yay, Robin! And we started by doing Dada salons there, and then Peter.
Yes, we became perfect bound, as this book looks, and full color a few years later. So now we are in full color, and there's just 256 writers and artists in this book from 33 different countries, 6 continents. And we began, with Dada, Dada was like the big bang for modernism. It was like it started in World War I, and it was often viewed as the response to the cancer of World War I, and it sent like antibodies to anti-war, anti-empire, anti-capitalism, anti-authority, anti-logic, anti-normality, all of that. It was like the tabula rasa of the 20th century. Wipe the slate clean. If beautiful Renaissance art got us to this place with 400,000 corpses in a trench, we need to change everything. Yeah. And that's where these cats came from, and that's where we are today. Basically, we carry on the anti-war tenets of this ideal. And luckily now we have so much intercommunication, social media, that the original Dadaists definitely wanted to create an international scene, which they wanted to have, get everybody from everywhere. They basically had Berlin, they had Zurich and Paris, but they wanted to just get people from everywhere to not belong, but to not belong. You know what I'm saying? To just be what this is. And now we're able to do that. 200 and I'm shedding. Look at
that. Also, New York did have a big Dada scene, but as Man Ray, Man Ray's birthday is today, as he said, Dada cannot live in New York. All New York is Dada. I will not tolerate a rival. So let's hear it for New York.
And Man Ray's 130th birthday. And I also want to mention, right before we move on to our first reader, that this cover art is by Walter Robinson. He's a New York artist. He's a neo-pop artist here in New York City. We went out and visited him in his studio in Long Island City. And we picked out these 5 pieces. That you see 4 of them. And in the background, if you look real close or buy a copy, you'll see golf clubs as well. And we call this collage or composite of his work. We call it These Are Our Children, because they'll be here on this earth. Everything you're looking at there will be here long after we're gone.
Right.
So that's the theme of this year's Montanant 14 is unsustainable shit. And that's what we have a lot of. So here's a quick introduction.
Read the intro.
I'm going to read the quick intro, and then we're going to move on to our first reader, who Kat will introduce. Dada was born as an artistic protest, an unfettered reclamation of the trenches' flowing blood. Along came influenza, which couldn't choose sides. And now here we sit in isolation, 100 years later, still creating. Revolutionaries facing a new form of plague, accompanied by demagogic projections. Each page to follow is a physical conviction. Each spread relates an intimate correspondence. The entire volume is a familial tree of leaves and shapes and buds of thoughts to be. Our theme might be unsustainable shit, but here as one soul, the moment is sustainable. So I'll have Kat bring up our first reader, and thank you, NYPL.
Okay, so now I am going to go here, and our first reader, the trick is finding the first reader to unmute.
Where'd she go? She was there.
Okay, so our first reader will be, we have 3 screens. Hello. Our first reader will be the wonderful Amy Herman. So please.
We love Amy Herman. We have her in Ben and Menton, and we also published her first novel, Everything Grows, which won quite a few awards this year as a YA
Amy.
LGBTQ book. Amy Herman.
Yay. All right, Amy.
I am an unsustainable pollutant. We cannot see each other anymore.
There she is.
My eyes burn from the fog of war that has collapsed the bones holding my sight in place because all the cows have collapsed from overbreeding, and I cannot achieve my dalium calcium intake. Our teeth crumble each time we kiss. Is it worth it? You taught me how to eat newspapers, cut into the commentary like communism and gristle. All this red is confusing my blood where to go. I bathe in the puddles that have become like oceans wrapping around houses and huts. Do you remember when you taught me how to hold my breath? Without your prompting, I cut each breast from my undeclared chest to float you back home. You arrived months later wearing anemia, convulsions in your comments, and when you smiled, all that blue on your gums attracted the birds toward your mouth, which was flimsy and haunted. This is all to say, I miss you. Did you know some of them have stopped sucking on straws? The rich ones bring their own. They're burning all the leftover styrofoam, but its styrene stops our lungs from breathing in and in. When you held my hand all those times, we'd stretch our necks toward the rain and drink the sky's waterfalls. We drank forest fires, corrosion of bridges, and volcanic temper tantrums. We drank hyperventilating lightning bugs and radioactive pelicans. My organs are an alphabet of William S. Burroughs. Does your tongue even know what it is meant for? In conclusion, there's nothing left. The landfills have become our supermarkets. Our wombs are secrets that used to hold beings of light. Soon, dusk will replace everything else, but we will all glow in the dark from our persistent denial of unsustainability. All that will be remembered will no longer remember. Will no longer remember how. Will no longer have anyone or anything left to be heard.
Oh, Wow. Oh my God.
Put us up there.
That's fantastic.
Way to go, Amy. You gotta put
Okay.
us up. Nobody can hear us. I don't think.
Uh,
Get us up there.
Okay, we are up here.
It's
All
Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
We
Woo! No. We're good. We're good.
We're not
All
up on the
right.
screen.
It's okay.
There we
It isn't
go.
what we look like.
Yay.
Okay, Amy. I wish I
Amy
could
Herman.
unmute everybody so that we could clap all at the
can't.
same time. Okay, so we've got, please use the chat. We love the chat. We love having people talk and be able to communicate within the chat. The chat, you can find that on the bottom of your screen in Zoom. So we're going to be a little quiet, but we're having this chat going on anyway. So please use it. Put your comments in and be civil and nice. Okay, next up we've got the one and only Thomas Fucalaro. Thomas, are you with us?
We've done some books of his as well. 3 Rooms Press and Thomas Fucalaro. It starts in the belly and blooms, and sometimes, what is it?
Something else.
Come on, tell me.
Inheriting craziness is like a small.
Inheriting craziness,
yeah.
right.
Thank you. I have 2 poems for you. The first one is from the great book. An open ocean moon, a full bloom of lilies, a dying shopping experience. So I was at the Palisades Mall for some shitty work meeting thing. I go outside to have a cigarette, and a mall security guy came over to me and told me, "You can't smoke outside." Apparently, this mall has the right to ban smoking outside because of the secondhand smoke causing secondhand health. But then I look around at the mall parking lot and look at all these cars exhaling their vile shit into this wondrous thing we call breath, and the factories and buildings around the mall spitting their vile poison in the air. How could you not smoke at a time like this? I'm being told to put out my cigarette by some mall cop while there is all this noxious violet-y in the air, and they think by me putting out my cigarette, air will be restored to its natural luster and color. I believe that things will eventually get so fucked up with the environment that lilies will eventually mutate and grow lungs and legs and limbs, and they'll be picking us out from the soil, put us in water, watch us drown. And I have one more poem for you. When I Mourn, a list poem. I always wear someone else's blue. Flipping through the stations, you cannot always get what you want, and this is a good thing because it will help you understand what need is. In silence, scream, or ology, you are still on my friends list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can you hear the ghosts? 9, 10, 11. Thank you.
Thomas Fucalaro.
All right.
Yay. Okay. Can you see us?
Oh.
Okay. Ha. Wow. Hey, that was fantastic. The comments are coming fast and furious, so please do use the chat. If you hear a line you love, write it down in the chat, and then maybe we'll make a poem out of all of the chat. And then that would be like a fan poem. It'd be super cool. Okay, so next up, please join me in welcoming Robert Gibbons.
As we find Robert, there he is.
There he is. Okay, Robert Gibbons, I'll ask you to unmute, and then if you unmute, there
I unmuted. How is everybody doing?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Right.
It's a pleasure to be in your virtual company. And I was just looking back over the years, and I saw that I was published in not 4, 6, 9, 13, and 14. So I'm in great company. And it's such a pleasure to be in your virtual company. And I just like to pay honor to my mother, Dorothy, and to my father, Robert, to my grandmothers, Maddie and Versi, and to my grandfathers, Jethro, Robert, and Sammy Ashe. I have a few poems for you today, including the one that's in the book. My first poem is a pandemic poem. Pandemic, April 15th, 2020. We were already there. That world already in flux. The buses and cars and trains are in constant motion, are in constant friction between media and man-made, staid and old and bold and rhetoric and bordered on the precipice of civil war and slavery, the behavior of an administration entitled and established, and we bend our wheel for capital, our lapse in judgment, but a purge, a plague of thought or mind crowd by church or synagogue by hurt. The years of it, we bend our wheel to this ethic. The better of us erodes and fades under the threat of this purge. We bend to the psychosis, the nation of example and celebrity, the petty penny pinching of scarcity, the plenty of providence, the obvious work ethic. For some, the beach bomb has been dislocated. We raid our psychologies, our cosmogonies, but yet we still judge, neither to expunge or judge our issues or our statistics, our petty legalese, and here we are. Unity must come. Pandemic, April 16th, 2020. I sleep all day until something happens to my whole body. The day will break. The takeaway of yesterday or tomorrow, the sorrow of being really present. And this is my lesson, to press myself into some type of dialogue. The fog will break, and there will be people that rush and push again. They will spit and curse, and they will bust themselves to put authority to the green market, and they will be into a routine between salad and menagerie on Times Square and au pair themselves while smoking cigarettes, and they will parapet themselves on the corner, and there are stone faces to achieve. And I sleep through all of this, through the day job. The slob in me wants to be, not to believe in my own worth, and the earth had to compel me, had to tell me that there is a precedent, maybe a movement, that there doesn't have to be this way. The land is full of concrete and heat and hallways of commerce and bursts of ambulance, and perchance we will honor humanity and not blame our calamity on our defeat. And there is something weak in what has happened. The pattern is to wake up out of this dysfunction, to honor and to be determined, and to sleep has ran its course. This voice has potential, not to mention daylight or daybreak or earth. What have I done to be undone? What have I done to be undone? And I'll read the poem from the book. It is an alfresco poem. It's called We Left It All Behind. We left it all behind. It had been the metaphor for the week, the city in constant drool. I want something more medieval, maybe a town with a historic name, a one-frame church with a steeple, a New Britain, a Naugatuck, a meridian out of touch with the world, the top gallant upside down. And there is something about a rest area to spare, to establish a main street. Always chasing those beats, Robert, like a boy on Broadway peddling his mixtapes, will not rate the trope to be published. And you are right when you say my internal rhymes are so irritating, keeping time to obligate. But what you forget to say, these are my rhymes. And there are more miles to go in the woods in search of substance, whether Binghamton or Purchase. Oh, there it is, a house by the lake, overlook the expressway. And fake, and there it chases down the road, places us in a block upon the pages of Max Ernst. with the naked tourists, big bold bodies with the shirt I have to be attracted to the outside. Forget the frick. Forget the acquisition of a Puro. Stop block moved into a Rizzo. And there is more miles than credential, more than penitential of Israel Pound or a visit from Langston. Leave the city. Leave the package poet to Battery Park. Leave me in the dark into a lockjaw. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Wow, Robert Gibbons! Woo! Oh my God, we're so happy. Okay, thank you everybody for coming. Oh yeah,
Okay.
They can hear us, believe me. Thank you everybody for being here, and we're so excited that we're doing this courtesy of the New York Public Library. So I'm going to introduce our next poet, and then we'll take a short interlude. But next up, please welcome Fred.
No, Puma.
Fred. Oh,
Puma.
Puma.
We couldn't forget Puma.
Sorry, not Fred. Puma. Pearl.
Puma Pearl.
And
Every Mentenon, every Bukowski.
Yeah.
Robert Gibbons is back. Hello, Robert.
It's okay, they can't see it.
okay, you're in my 4 minutes now. Pat and Peter, thank you so much, and thank everyone. And I'm going to read a short one, 2 short ones, one that was in my submission and one that made it into the big time. We used to be so happy. The emperor manipulates the ventriloquists. Puppets pull strings. Pinocchio hangs himself. And then there's Alice, who thinks she knows. Nostalgia is a lie designed to convince us that we used to be so happy. Pancakes and aprons for breakfast. Rebellion for dessert. History hiding in the shadows. Hula hoops and strobe lights. Cigarette girls and cabana boys. We pay our admission to the show and step up into the fire. And this is the one from the book called Ticket to Hell. Scientists say the world is ending. Sounded believable. So I quit my job, fucked the wrong people, stopped paying rent, and developed a drug habit. But the world didn't end. Well, not then. It's a velvet underground ticket to hell. Another apocalypse, and we can't be late. Grab that rock and roll shirt, a few pair of socks, and a high-powered rifle. All bases covered, except for the drug habit and the people I fucked, because they are all just still so wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, Puma.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Okay, so now we are going to be
we'll just introduce Fred.
Now we're going to Puma, like he said, has been in every one. That's quite an accomplishment. Now we're going to introduce Mr. Fred Marchand, who is the only person who's not
He's not a New Yorker.
a New Yorker.
But we don't mind. During the pandemic lockdown.
I feel privileged to be with you, and in my spirit, too.
It's
I want
a
to
pleasure
say,
to have you here.
I want to say something first about the magazine. It's always a pleasure to go through the magazine and look at the artwork. And this is the artwork on the facing page of the poem I'm going to read from this issue of Maintenant. This is called What? What? It was a time of mid-level feelings, with mid-level degrees of authenticity. We all got along well, and yet we were troubled by the direction we were taking. We had a leader, one might say a dear leader, but that would be too ironic for our taste. Still, we had a leader, and there were troops overseas. We couldn't remember the name of the language of the people we fought, but it was more or less a difficult tongue with a strange tribal history, the words mostly like a secret handshake. We still had enough fuel then to face the winters, which we all agreed were getting milder. My beloved and I calculated we had about 20 years to go. We had no children. We planned on getting a dog to see us through. Outside the window of the room where we spoke, a brilliant azure sky and the deep shadowy green of the maple thriving beneath it. The temperature was perfect. Nothing felt so complicated we would not eventually come to terms with it. What? I now see the legitimacy and depth of the question. What were we afraid of? What were we trying so hard not to think about? What looping snare inside held us back, froze us, tightened, then broke us at the neck. I should have said that this, I wanted to give a shout out to the artist. That poem faces a painting called Birch by Barbara Voss from Brisbane, California. So thank you, editors, for that, for those poems to be companions. I don't know who said this, but it's a great Dada quote. One of the great Dadaists said, Dada is like a kick in the butt and you like it. This is from 12, maybe not 12, the like issue about liking. And this was my poetic investigation as to why I like Roy Orbison. Orbison. Ego, superego. Sound, the entire shebang, an imaginary friend, my worst best self, and vice versa. My preteen preoccupation. My halo in the helmet, dream's primary process, the uninterrupted, ongoing, one and only, beyond interpretation, the from which when pure breath without meaning, of unknown origin, how this all began, whether as a thorn in the amygdala or a blowfly that settled, wings waving, though they sound like buzzing, eyes with 1,000 lenses and images, my ointment stuck panicky wings, flimsies, weak, and weaker still, my total rack and sack cracked den, filled with blue sirens, and the top 40 oldies, me strapped to a mast and out on the floor, feeling Roy watching over me. Mercy. And if you've heard that sound, you know what I meant. Thank you.
All right, Fred. Turn this. Are we on?
Yeah.
Fred, I wanted to ask you something. From our anti-war perspective.
Yep.
And I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but I just found this out about you when you were a conscientious objector as a Marine in 1970.
That's right.
What happened in that moment? I mean, and you were like the first Marine in that situation, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I honestly don't know if I'm the first. I think I might be the first Marine officer to be discharged honorably as a CO. What happened, and this is, in the spirit of the Dada, conversation we're having, I was on Okinawa for a year. I mean, I was on there for about 2 or 3 months, and I had to be rotated into Vietnam. And before that happened, there was a report, the first reports of the My Lai massacre. And I remember looking at the photographs in Life magazine. And the very first thing I said to myself when I looked at the photographs of the villagers who had been killed, especially that terrible image of an infant. You can remember, those of you know the photographs I'm talking about. There's one with an infant holding on to his mother, a bare-bottomed infant, actually. And I said to the ceiling, I looked up at the ceiling and said, I'm not a Nazi. And I decided then that there's something, I was doing something wrong. And that if I was participating in something that could generate this, then there was something really wrong at work. And so about 10 months later, that's when I was discharged. I went through a long administrative process, a long process inside me first, and then starting around March, April that year. This was in November, March or April that year, I started a long administrative process that ended in September, me coming back.
Well, it's an honor to be, have you publish you, and also to be in your poetic pedigree presence right now.
But I never miss the connection between Dada and the trenches. So I thank you, Peter and Kat.
And we respect your authenticity there as well. It's a large part of but you're a part of us as well. All right, well, we're gonna thank you so much, Fred, and we're gonna have Kat bring yourself up.
I'm going to read a piece from somebody who's down in Peru. We do have poetry and art and visual art, visual poetry from over 250 countries and 33 countries, 250 artists. So I'm going to read a piece from a guy who actually, he hasn't gotten the book yet because the mail is so messed up with the pandemic. I'm shocked that any of you have gotten it. This guy has been very patient, though, and he sent in an imaginary version of himself reading the book because he hasn't yet gotten it. We have photos of everybody reading the book that are on our website. So this guy is Giovanni Mangiante from Lima, Peru. Don't mind the words, listen to the rhythm. I think I'm going to style my pubic hair like Donald Trump's hair, just to be hip, 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 and change my writing style to skrr, 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 808, 808, clap, clap, codeine, Big Macs, plastic world, 808, 808, clap, clap, Xanax, Coca-Cola, plastic people, 808, 808, clap, clap. I love to open the windows and get a big hit, a breath of fresh smog. If poetry focused less on the peppermint skies, the overflowing rivers of souls merging into a big twirling sea dragon that leaves the gods flummoxed and stoned, then maybe more people would give a shit about it. All right. So that was Giovanni from Mangiante from Lima, Peru. And now I'm turning it over to Peter.
I just wanted to throw in there that we have the Dada, the lover of chaos, and the anti everything, and you might think that the times today are somewhat Dada. And if you looked at it, the Republican National Convention, you might consider it to be somewhat Dada. But I think the Dadaists were people could say that, but there's no Dada there. There's no anti anything. There's accepting the past and breathing life into hatred, and that is not what Dada ever was. Dada was three different sections: Berlin and Paris and Zurich. And if you think about the time, World War I was being fought, and there was the Germans fighting the French, and they had two different Dada sides in Paris and in Berlin. Plus, in the neutral side were the Zurich Dadaists, who were the beginning, Tristan Tzara and Hugo Ball and Emmy Hemmings, Hans Arp. And of course, in Paris, you had Man Ray, whose birthday it is, Marcel Duchamp, Andre Breton, Max Ernst, Francis Piscabia. And in Berlin, there was Otto Dix, Hannah Hoch, John Hartfield, a few Raoul Halsman, George Gross was a big, and these people all created in these separate places that were the reality were killing each other, but they were not. They were creating a new force that would create all modern art from then on. So that's what we have to realize now. All of us are responsible for that same type of energy. Of course, we're not going to do the same things, but we're going to have that sort of creative force to move forward and not backwards. And we're very proud, or we're very excited and moved, and continue to put our energy into creating that forward-looking, artistic point of light. So let's just keep going, and I'll have Kat bring up the next reader. So.
You're going to bring up
Oh,
the
I
next
am
reader.
okay. Here he
You're
is.
on.
It's David Lawton, who we did Sharp Blue Stream on Three Rooms Press, poet, and he's also with Great Weather for Media. There he is, David Lawton.
Yay! Woo!
We suffer and endure, dividing ourselves. Time shifts gear from speeding away from us to ceasing to have meaning altogether. Do you have meaning altogether? Does meaning have time for me? This kind of existential contemplation is intellectually exhausting, makes my brain dribble like cottage cheese. The challenge in itself to speak in full sentences, to tell each other about our lives, find out why we settle into certain patterns, how we fall for the same shit all the time. When we are so extraordinary, one of a kind, destined for greatness. Mother always said so. Said you were special. Well, she didn't say it out loud. So many kids, it would have been rude. And we don't go for rudeness at our house. We promised ourselves many times to be a good person. That's all it's about. If you accomplish that, you have everything. There's nothing else you need. No room for anyone else except myself. For me. I've a donkey worth a dozen. A door key. A beast of burden. Something to give one purpose. Milder tasks deliver me dazzled right here. So why bother looking for the cake you were promised? Quid pro quo, don't tase me, bro. Scrub your lungs black with clean coal. Cells irradiate our wavy brain. Chop down the forest you just left with rain. Dog in the walk. Woo! Hot diggity dog in the walk. Ah-hoo. Well, if you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to be dog in the walk. As we watch elephants shuffle hence, our public service in the passing tense. Once it's all gone, gone out the door, then quote the raven, nevermore. Dog in the walk, woo! Diggity dog in the walk, ah-hoo! Well, if you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to be dog in the walk, dog, dog, dog in the walk, woo, woo, dog, dog, dog in the walk, woo, woo, dog, dog, dog in the walk.
Yeah! Woohoo!
All right. Way to go,
All
David
right.
Lawton.
Yeah. Go. We're up there. We're up there. It's okay.
Okay, so thank you, David. It's going to be a tough act to follow there, Patricia. Where's Patricia Leonard? Our dear friend Patricia Leonard. She's been in quite a few of the maintenance running, and she's also in number 14. And we're going to bring her up right now to read for you. And it's so good to see you.
All right. Patricia Leonard, give it up. Woo!
Follow that. Thanks, David. Okay, so I'm reading my piece from this year's Montagnat. It's on page 137 for anyone who has the book in front of you. It's a little bit long, so bear with me, but I hope you enjoy. Strong. Sometimes even the strongest break. The oldest of trees rooted deep into the earth, grounded for many years, carrying the weight of burdened souls weeping underneath them, seeking shelter and comfort from the world around them. Withstanding the roughest storms nature can conjure up, and still the willow sways and bends, but never breaks. Shedding its leaves upon the earth, releasing the responsibility of its purpose, and it is me. Structured and fixtured as a permanent ground for those surrounding, standing tall and firm, ready to bear the inconsiderate children whose laughter and play warm the air, who tug and abuse every part and every inch without splinters, cuts, or bruises. The tree caresses their fragile bodies and stables them through the generations. It is always the tree in the yard that brings childhood happiness and thundering sadness, whose fond memories relate time on time until one day something lights a fire in its very core. And just before the fire emerging, a weeping soul left the tree with nothing but embers, and in turn the tree has lifted another light. And little by little this happens again and again until the tree has no core, lost all of its very grounding and roots, lost what brought it to life. And no longer could the willow spring any leaves, but who cares about the tree and its losing fight to pollution? We all know the problem and always choose to turn the other cheek because there's always a skinnier tree or a younger bush or a sturdier vine to swing from, none of which can keep your feet firmly planted on the ground. But who am I kidding? These words are not profound. People are too wrapped up in their own shit to own their own shit. And the little kid in me is steadily picking at the scab, knowing that one innocent intention can lead to an uncontrollable bleeding. But having blind faith in something that no one can believe because I'm paranoid, that paralyzes my emotions have come off too strong, and who else can I depend on for the words of wisdom and the strength to keep holding on? That maybe, just maybe one day, I'll touch the stars in the sky, and amongst the birds flying high, carefree living, but another soul has burdened me again, leaving me with empty tears and broken hopes, because someone has to be strong.
Yay! All
Thank you so
right.
much, Patricia Leonard.
Right.
All right, thank
on.
you.
Okay. So go ahead, Peter.
Okay, I guess we're moving on to the next reader, who is, we've done a couple of books with him also on Three Roots Press, Popping Johnny, Eos, The Abductor of Men, which was a Greek translation. We had a lot of fun with that. And he's also another co-editor of Great Weather for Media. Please welcome George Wallace.
Hey, George Wallace.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Kat.
The hail, huh?
Right. Great time to be doing something about unsustainable bullshit. Fires in the Northern California area, 2 hurricanes hitting the Gulf. I'm supposed to get hail the size of golf balls here on Long Island in the next hour or two. So I pulled out my golf clubs. I'm going to get my 9-iron, see how many I can hit back.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting problem to write about the environment as a Dada exercise. I want to be very Dada about it. I want to write something foolish and sassy and rude, something out there, make it hip and fun. But I couldn't do it. I came up with this, basically a serious piece. So here it is. Listen to the Inuit elders. Seas rise faster and faster. We have only to open up our eyes and let logic or science or our heart's magic in. We have only to breathe deep the vapors of the Sibyl's cave and see what's coming down the pike. To see it, to tell it. A tidal wave is coming. A pouring from heaven. The diagrams dictate it. The sun and moon and planets delineate it. You can read it in the entrails of crows. The earth is shifted. It's raining diamonds on Saturn. There's seismic flashes on the moon. Listen to the Inuit elders. Seas rise faster and faster. Forces larger than any man or army advance, and the rotation of the bones must have its say. And the barometer of cataclysm is real. And a storm netted in Atlantic waters will pour itself out. The cold graves of sailors and leviathans will open their jaws and swallow us all. It is coming. It is coming. Fish, cleats, weighing scales, pilings, oarlocks, anchors, mooring poles. An unwise people, us, the unwise, this nation, who lie to themselves or accept being lied to and laugh about lying and laugh at others for not believing their lies, who hide behind gates, who devour the forests and fish the seas out.
We can't hear you, George. You're muted.
Did you miss it all? The whole thing? David, where do I take it from?
No, George, just last 30 seconds.
All right, unwise people,
Sorry.
unwise this plan. I'm just bullshitting about Republicans. Spread the ice so thick that it smothers the cake. Naturally go to the bad, our cruelties, our indifferences. And the gates will not close and the city walls will crumble and they will fall. You've been downtown, you know it. Useless the rooftops, useless the lock boxes, useless IRAs, useless storage sheds, useless. Raised against the storm will tear it all down. Earth takes hold, reaches the limits of its tolerance and replies, and there is nothing Dada about this poem. And there's nothing clever or wise or hip or fun about this poem. And if nobody clicks like on this poem, I don't give a fuck. These are the short ends of our sorry history. You better grab on tight and hang on for your life because Earth in its sweet rotations and architectonics, Earth more eternal in its orbit than any of us, will give its answer. Will shake and shake until it hurls our sorry asses clean off of mountaintops. And that's my
Wow.
poem.
All right, George
Wow.
Wallace, thank you so much.
Wow.
All right, George.
Nice, George. Fantastic. Okay.
Here we are over there. Click on that one.
There we go. So that
All
was
right.
George Wallace.
From Maintenant 14
Mm-hmm.
with Walter Robinson on the cover. These are our children. And as George said, we might get hurled off the mountaintops, but these items right here will still be there.
Yeah.
When they come and land, and if some intelligent life comes, they'll be wondering what happened and what these things, do these things have intelligence? Well, we might try talking to them. Anyhow, let's bring up our next reader, who is Pamela Pepino Wood. And you might sense a familial connection to our reader, two readers ago, Patricia Leonard. They are indeed sisters.
Yay.
And they are sisters anchored by George Wallace. So we love Pamela and we love hearing your work and publishing it every year. Thank you for sending it. And thanks for coming with us today on NYPL Dada Livestream. So
all right.
Take it away.
I love you guys too, Peter and Kat. And thank you, New York Public Library, for having us. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So unsustainable bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit I think is unsustainable. So I am focusing on self-sustainability. So my piece right now is unsustainable love. So here goes. Unsustainable. That thing you call expression of affection that sits like a rotting lump in your throat. Hide, please, sir. In your desperation to drain every living ounce of sanity I bleed, and hoover me back to life after killing me dead. You despise, I despise your victimhood that cloaks your ineptness, your inorganic attempts to create realities to cover your lies. And you lie to yourself. You think she proves you're better than me? And perhaps you are, because I am shackled with the feelings of guilt and shame and blame transpired by your inner worthlessness. You give so little just to hold on to so much pain. And you continue to enjoy that dish with a side of self-pitying denial served up steaming. You cannot maintain your own stance without being resentful. I, who try to expose the imperfections that you cannot see for yourself, why try to fix it when you can attack and pass blame? Why seek growth when vision is already good and muddy? I am traumatized by the lack of understanding which direction the blows will return. I am traumatized. Oh.
I can't find Pamela Pepino Wood. Where did she go?
Looks like she might have dropped off. Huh? Are we on?
Yeah, we're
up.
on.
Okay, you can hear us, right?
Right.
Well, keep reading your piece.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Damn it! It's the same bitch I'm talking about that's calling me. Sorry. Let's go. I, who try to expose the imperfections that you cannot see for yourself. Why try to fix it when you can attack and pass blame? Why seek growth when vision is already good and muddy? I am traumatized by the lack of understanding which direction the blows will return. I am traumatized by the lack of understanding which direction the blows will return. I am traumatized by lack of understanding which direction the blows will return. Am I fighting hands, tears, or words? Without emotions, with emotions flown through the sweet Milky Way, then devoured in black holes. How can one sustain electricity shooting through veins without internal resistance to temper the flow? How can one sustain 14 tons of untruths along a beautiful esplanade? How can a heart ever trust its demise when surrounded by plastered smiles? It is not maintainable. Simply unsustainable. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good work.
Yay.
Or get us up there.
We're up there.
Okay. So now, thank you, Pamela. And we're going to be moving on to the final poet of this, reader of this, performer of this section, which is our second section. We have one more to come. And we do have Paul Poez Mills, who was one of the founders of street poets in the 70s and around the village here where we are. And now there he is. Bring him on. Come on, hit it. Paul Poez Mills.
Let us pursue the secret, furious beauty of the earth, the sky, the fractured truth that breaks and bears, frightening, sickening. This magic, this unexpected, speechless wonder. Who can kill it? Who can taint, poison it? No overfed clown, no monster, no bewildering dollar bill hate. It was around before time came along and swung into view. It will be, it is, alone with you, me, now. All it needs is your trust, your natural will to survive, fight, free. That was from Matinee 14, my poem, To Survive. Thank you, Kat and Peter.
Used to hang out on right around here where we are on Jones Street, right? They threw eggs at you. Is that true? On Jones
Well,
and West Fourth, or you know, people you used to read in the streets. A poem. Nick O was another guy I knew. I'm sure I knew you at that time because I lived on Charles Street. So we must have had some encounters, you know, at that time. And then you went out west and became an attorney, huh? And found your way back to New York. So lucky for us.
And all the time you kept the poetry. That's so cool. So thank you. Thank you for being here.
All right, way to go.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Right.
My pleasure.
Okay. So here we go.
All right, so Kat has a piece for us. Take it away, Kat.
A lot of the work that's in our book and a lot of Dada work in general is collage. So I made a collage poem called Drifting in Collage Land Cuz. Drifting into collage land cuz, rug, a surprised mouth, an arm, lead pipe, grizzly bear, Empire State Building, the girl in the bikini, Dolly's mustache. No, not flight, but fight, this whirl, spaghetti, the sonogram, palm tree, moon, full spectrum vision, not cut up, not chaos, the unwind, the day, the office, bank, parking lot, bed, a kiss, deep and sensual, spark. Then the phone, the text, brother, the new ride at Disneyland. The heater stopped working, hungry. Almonds back to work. Now, where was I? There are 5, no, 6 computer screens on my desk. My mind is one big twist. I'm electric this year, but it was always this way. The sidewalks, the window, a corner, 2 women pushing baby strollers, a car, the piano, the sky, then the cloud. Hi, hey, how are you? An old friend just passing. A breeze, the newspaper blowing by like a sail. Yesterday's news, it is always yesterday's news. The world old seems to be moving faster and faster, but the news new is always yesterday's. All right.
Way to go, Kat. And I'm here with the answer for everything. 2020. That's the answer for everything. No, stay here. No. We're going to bring in the last section for readers.
Okay.
And 2020 is still with us. And I know that we're all longing to not see this year again. Who knows? Maybe some people out there have had the greatest things happen to them. I mean, we can't take everything away from anyone. Maybe they wound up stuck together for all this time and will celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary from here on. So we can't be so negative.
Right.
Anyhow, let's bring on our next reader, Cheryl J. Fish.
Yay,
has been in our
Cheryl.
Metanant for a couple of years running, and we will bring her up now.
All right, Cheryl. Hi.
I was gonna wear my beehive wig. Should I? It's very Dada, I think. Gotta put it on. Whoops. Okay. So my poem is on page 41. It's very short, so I'm going to read also my poem from last year's Maintenant as well. They harvest tigers. They harvest tigers for their skin, bones, and teeth to grind into wine, stripes and ivory powdered Viagra stockpile, poach the wild, puree the heart, traffic in death, sex, child crime, mutilation, oil, kill orangutan for palm oil. Debased cash cow, hate potion. That's that poem. And my second poem that was in Maintenant 13 is Simon Says. It's from my new book, Crater and Tower, which is about 9/11 and the Mount St. Helens eruption, two forms of trauma that involved a lot of ash and disappointing rebuilding in the case of the World Trade Center, and interesting things that nature does in the case of Mount St. Helens. This poem is called Simon Says. The Twin Towers couldn't have collapsed like a pile of trash, disintegrating vertically, swiftly, Simon says. He accuses me of using the term conspiracy theory naively to dismiss views at odds with the official history. He believes the story is contrary to the law of physics. Simon says it was an inside job. Bush needed a reason to go to war, and Simon dismisses the influence of PTSD. I witnessed both planes hit and tried to ignore desperate workers dropping from the towers that afternoon, evacuating students from my campus, hushed, dismantling, in deep dismay. He says it's pie in the face obvious that 9/11 report was a cover-up. He writes in all capital letters, "We are not a good match." A friend thought we might hit it off. To other dating prospects, I proclaim, we are not a match if you support Trump. One man finds it heinous to pull out the rug from what hasn't even begun. He sticks out forked tongue and trolls me. In these times, finding love, ice pick to brain, cold hard spike into the crevice of darkness, politics cordoned off by fools who write not so well, anger soaked all arrows fly, the other side of the other side. Simon says, place one hand on my shoulder, cover your mouth with the other. And unfortunately, the conspiracy theories just keep getting crazier. Anyway, thanks a lot for having me, Peter and Kat. It's always great to be in this company.
Yay, Cheryl.
Cheryl, all right.
Yeah.
Put us back in big.
Okay. Yay.
And now we're back. Now we're the Swamediums, which we were on the 100th year of Dada. We were the Swamediums. And what we are is we're Swamis and
what
mediums.
happened in the 100th year of Dada?
What happened is we got Donald Trump elected. In fact, on the 100th year celebration, we were out in San Francisco with City Lights. It was the day he got elected. So let's not talk about Trump that much, because hopefully he'll be out of our lives and back on a reality show soon.
But we're moving through, right?
We're moving forward
right.
here now. Except we do have, we love Arthur Cravan, who was a total provocateur back in 1930, started the first Maintenant, and he would print up his little mimeographs and carry them around in a wheelbarrow, like the racetracks or anything, anywhere where there was people, and he would sell them out of the wheelbarrow to anybody for any amount of money, and just to get his word out there, just to be heard, just to be pushy, to say that there's a need for something to be heard. And of course, his words were the most important thing to be heard. But he was that provocateur. And here in New York, where we sit right now on Bleecker Street, we owe a lot to the Baroness Elsa von Freytag-Loringhoven, who wore brightly colored makeup, postage stamps on her cheeks, a shaved head shellacked in various hues. Her accoutrement also included live birds, packs of dogs, a tomato can bra, arms full of bangles, and flashing lights. Her unconventionality forthright poetry and rugged found object sculptures, often incorporated into her outfits, unsettled social hierarchy and accepted gender norms and distinctions between art and life. And that's right down here up the streets we now
What
occupy.
year was that?
Back in the 1910s, 20s.
Yeah.
You know, she was here in the village. And we also have our next reader, Billy Cancel, will also bring that sort of feel to his performance here. So please welcome Billy Cancel.
All right. Woo!
Did you find him? There he is. Bring him up. Come on, Billy, get up here.
We can't hear you, Billy.
Spotlight video.
Would you please unmute?
Unmute.
He won't unmute. There he goes.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Am I good?
Good.
good.
Shark-infused riptide and where honeysuckle. Shark-infused riptide and where honeysuckle scent hang thick in the air, much the same to you, scanning the world through the tinted visor of a Super Bowl quarterback. Same time across great white pigeon shit wave all over the map. I'm happy in transit. Some call me business class, others syncretic saint. Doled up imposing non-signifier gets White Housed in, yet there's always a bunch willing to reconfigure, mobilize, help Uncle Tim kill dead mice. Myself, I smoked my way through an imperial diet. The hungry staggers privileged some, devastated others. That's the whole boiling. Flip side of the reverse is situation normal or fucked up, where we're checked until the top blows off. Right side caves in, left side breaks down. The bottom drops out. Unconvincing electronica.
Billy Cancel. I mean, we could start a positive movement called cancel culture, but it would be a positive movement with Billy.
Yeah.
So thank you, Billy.
All
right. So what we're going to do now is bring up the next reader.
We have two more readers.
Two more readers, and we've got plenty of show left for you. We'll have some questions if you want afterwards, or you want to talk a little bit. But right now, we still have two wonderful performers, and we're going to present one of our favorite poets and friends, who's been in Maintenant all along as well, and also we published two of her books on Three Rooms Press. We published Welcome to Museum of Cattle and Recreational Vehicles on Fire. We could never forget that title. And we're bringing up Jane Ormerod, so please bring her up.
All right, Jane.
Thank you, Captain Peter. This is from Maintenant. Fortune thrown across the falls. Watch out for seizing bodies. Add this seizing that. Exact infection. Fleck. Red actionary. Reeds. Short and short of impossible breath drops. Negligee, negligent. Float. Swan. The this of extinction. Breaking dimension, we said, might as well have a life away from horizon and hips. The brazen history of war between the never, the neither, here, there, hairball, fireball, posy pockets, the ever now or ever in case of anything else. Forget to subtract the this from their that. This is not the sprightly this of the ever to never before. Death is the only place without stairs or chance. Thank you. I'm going to read one more, which is from number 11. The home of no things. Punch hole, punch, a hard stare worn to nothing, the saying of a tired child, the adult child, welcome, welcome the carpeted mind, punch, resume without care, keep driving till you cry bingo. Cry glue, check connection, speed, return the stare. This is home, pour tea, pour modern coffee. Return the stare, add your name to the sweetness, drag velvet values into the 21st century. Refuse to row another's boat. Do not call my name at 10 a.m. Practicality occurs within pure wool. Sunspots, fear, eclipses. Do not call my name at 11. Foulness is postponed. Lamb, gas frond, punch hole, hole punch, movement of a lamb. A staircase is a window. A window is a death stare. Starlight is abandoned thread. You are the doctor, the brandy doctor, the whiskey woman, the house bet, the solitaire mother fixing the living, adjusting death by an inch by an inch. The spring dressed in black. Withhold the undiscovered, welcome flowers. Visionaries are no longer ideal. Punch hole, heat wrap, the will of the honest, moving the ha to here. Here is salt, firmness. It is June in October. It is August in October. Tomorrow is 90 years late. Thank you. Thank you, Captain Peter.
There you go, Jane. Wonderful to have you. Thank you so much. Jane Ormerat.
Okay. So now
we're down to one final reader, and then I have a little something. I'm going to read my piece from the thing afterwards. But please, we're so honored to have Bibi Hansen with us. And, her father was Al Hansen of the Fluxus movement. And we were so tickled to put her in a spread with, she sent us a piece of Al's, and we were able to put her and her dad in a spread in our book or in any book. I don't know if it's ever happened before, but we certainly hope that she was as tickled as we were to able to facilitate that, and it works so well. So we're going to bring up Bibi now. Maybe we'll talk with you a little afterwards, Bibi, and so go get him, Bibi Hansen.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to start with my dad's piece. My father was Al Hansen, the artist, and 2020 is the 25th anniversary of his death in 1995, and I've been doing a series of actions all over for him, celebrating him. And so tonight I'm going to read a manifesto he wrote on his birthday in the late 1960s. And it's named after his third rail. He called everything third rail, his gallery, his studio, whatever he had, he would call third rail, which referenced the third rail of a subway system in New York City, which is always electrified and live, and you touch it and you fry dye, and that had a kind of energy for him. So here this is. Third Rail Provo Program. Memo. Provocation. Homage to the Vienna Institute for Direct Art and a manifesto. 1. Take out the first floor of all buildings in traffic congested areas so delivering can be done off the street. 2. Get involved where you live. Most of the people you allow to be in charge of it are morons. 3. Create junior and high schools of police, firemen, teachers, social workers, trades, and a high school for experimental art and happenings. 4. Slash the tires of diplomatic cars parked contemptuously. 5. A prefab ski lodge hut in parks and playgrounds for resident poets, painters, happeners, etc. 6. City hostels where children, more intelligent than their parents can live. 7, rename New York City third rail and succeed from New York State. 8, if you're passive, get angry and function. 9, if you're angry, calm down a little and try to understand. Al Hansen, Viking Dada, third rail, New York City, October 5th, 1967. I have a piece that I wrote in a former Maintenant journal. I don't remember which one it was. I guess it kind of goes along with it. And I'll just, if it's okay with you, I'll just read through it. Okay. It's called Einstein's Eyes. Einstein's eyes in Einstein drink up the universe theoretically, unified in uniform, marching to doom as the cosmic boom boom girls sweep up the MP3 active fallout dust up. All through July of that century, we were searching for anomalies and finding order all along the border between desire and mire, riding atop the observation deck with the most raffish of the grifter class, taking the fifth world's favorite trip south. And then we were all gone and done, baby. Really gone. Thank you.
And the sound, just the sound for us.
Yeah.
Put on our sound. We're on mute.
It's on.
We're on mute.
No, we're not.
Oh, okay. We're not on mute. Bibby, thank you so much. How's Sean doing? Okay.
Oh, he's doing great. We're doing a big show up here in Hudson, New York for an Al and Bibby art show. Al and Bibby, and it's called Outside the Lines.
Okay.
And we're doing a night of performance on Saturday night and an art show that's opening tomorrow. And it's the first show I've ever done with my dad, like Bibby and Al.
All right.
Wow, that's great.
That's wonderful to know. And I was reading today a great interview with you by Vaginal Davis. Such a wonderful interview. So I can tell everybody to please look up this interview with you and Sean. I thought it's just a great interview to find out who you are, you know, and who she is and who Sean is. I think it's just a great interview. So thank you so much for joining.
Well, thank you for having me. I love being in your programs.
It's an honor to have you with us, and thank you for joining us.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Bye, Bibby.
Bye.
Bye.
Good luck on the weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we're up there. Okay.
Okay. So this is our magazine, our journal, Maintenant 14. And the cover, of course, is These Are Our Children. Look at them. They'll be here. Those plastic containers, those glass bottles, those horrible, but also inside will always be 256 artists and writers' work. And that's why we do this. This is our labor of love, to put this out into the world and to make that community and to make each page matter onto the next and each spread belong. And for this many people to belong together, and thus everybody that reads it belong. And so we have a chance in the world here to make a little inroads on that sort of connection and belonging. And now I'm going to go the other way and do my piece, which,
all right.
I had a little late start since I had a lucky, you know, and then at the end, I'm going to tell you our new theme for the Maintenant 15, the first to hear it, and also when our submission period will be. This is my piece. It's Via Us, like Toys R Us, and it's from our dear president. It's from the White House. It's from the, here, I got to put on my glasses. And oops, shit, Bibby. Look, Bibby, I forgot to put on my damn soup can. So forgive me for forgetting the damn Andy Warhol soup can. Anyhow, that plot is done. All right. Anyhow, glasses, hold that up. And this is Via Us. And since Toys R Us went out of business, they bought the White House bought this with our money, and this is the official White House pandemic prevention prevention gear website. So while your parents have returned to work to ensure that America stays great, your little ones can take care of their little ones and be ready for the next pandemic. Included is your HHS approved package are 3 face masks and 3 pair of gloves, plus simplified instructions from the DOE. All proceeds go to the president's favorite charity organization, Red, White, and Coup. Suggested purchase 1 per child. Important. While investments are not tax deductible, the IRS will be notified either way if you've been good or bad. For toy use only, toys not included. So, and I think they have done that. I think that since then, the White House is selling masks, and the White House are selling things with the White House stamp on them. And I wonder who paid for those items that are being sold, and I wonder if we're getting that money back. The taxpayers are getting it put back in for them. No. So,
all right. Well, so what do you got?
I have. I guess we're going to move off into that great golden after show in the sky, afterglow of the after show. But
speaking of shows, though,
right,
yeah.
We have our. So here is our. Let me take the glasses off. Okay, so here and I'll take the Swamedium off too. I haven't had a haircut since February, and I'm not going to get one till January 20th, 2021. When another hand is on the Bible. That's my plan. Anyhow, so our new theme for Mentonot 15, which the submission period will be November 15th to Feb 14th through Valentine's Day. And that will mean that hopefully that this white supremacist is out and we start building a new world.
What's our new theme?
Our new theme is Humanity the Reboot. And we're going to change things. We're not going to have them be the same anymore. So remember that theme, Humanity the Reboot. And we're coming back. November 15th will be our
after the election.
After the election, November 15th. We're going a little bit later, but it'll be worth it. And we'll have much more to say once we can see through this cloud of hatred and whatever. But that's not what we created tonight. We created a wonderful environment for everybody's thoughts and everybody's thoughts to carry on into other people and become new thoughts.
Right.
And thank you so much to the New York Public Library. Is Aliana there? Can she
Yes,
join?
I'm here.
Yeah.
You're there? All right, wonderful.
Yeah. I'm so impressed. Thank you so much.
Let's get everybody up here so we can talk.
Okay.
I thought we'd be done at 7:30, and look at that. We've got 5 minutes to spare. So if there are any questions or anybody wants to talk about anything, a rebooty call. I like that, Jane Omerai. A rebooty call. Very good. Humanity the Reboot. That's where we're going.
Yeah, and if you're still in the poetry mood and you want to keep going, you can move on over to
we have
Neuronautic Institute Facebook, where I'll be doing a.
Kat is moving on to the Neuronautic Institute, so you can look that up and go there and continue this wonderful input and output of.
How about everybody just say your favorite line from the night
at the same time.
At the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Speak off.
Look at all these lovely people we haven't seen in so long.
So great to see everybody. It was wonderful to have you all here. Thank you so much. So let's.
Thank you for doing this.
Yay!
Yeah. Okay. She's off to the. What do I do? Okay.
Whatever you want.
All right. So, are we off the air yet, Aliana, or are we still
We're
live?
still here, and I can help you, Peter. What would you like me to do?
I don't know.
Okay, should we just say goodbye, or you want to still keep chatting?
I think that we could say goodbye, and can we all still
Okay.
stay on after that, so we're not like live, or should we have some questions? Anybody or?
Question. I have a question.
Okay.
So I noticed that the recording button is on. Will there be access to the recordings later?
I think so. Did we record, Aliana?
Yes, I'm recording
Okay.
it. Yes, I will
did-
send you the video after. Yes.
So we'll have it up on our YouTube, and it'll be on probably Facebook if we can get it up there. We didn't live stream like we normally do lately on YouTube and Facebook, which we will. We're going to be doing some Dada live streams with everybody here over the next month, and probably anywhere from 4 to 6 Dada live streams during September. So we should, hopefully we'll have everybody involved that I'm looking at, and we'll do this all over again. And everybody I see will be involved. There's the Blick. There's George Wallace will be back without the hail. There's Bennett, C. Mayor Bennett. And look at this, John Paul is here. Hey, look at that. Okay, Amy Barone, everybody from the book. So that's really, and Firestone Unger. I guess, is that Doug Knott? Oh my God, look at that. So I guess I can move on to the next group. Who's over here?
Peter.
Hey.
Peter.
Yes.
Somebody in the chat is asking who did the painting behind you.
That was me and my two sons when they were 3 and 1, and an artist friend of ours, David Miller, and we just kind of set it down a little lower than that where they were and gave them some paint, and then I did kind of this side, and my artist friend did the onion or the shark, and the kids put in Superman and Wolfman and all that stuff of their own design. And we've had it all that time. I think it was done in 1990, and it's hung in the theater we had, and it's been a lot of places, and now it's just behind us today for this particular Zoom. So, and it always hangs on the wall. So thanks for asking. It's very done by Max and Dylan, Peter Karloftis, 3 Karloftises, and a David Miller, who's no longer with us. So thank you. Are we still live here, Aliana?
Yes,
No,
Peter.
okay.
Yeah, and I want to thank you one more time for this beautiful energy you brought tonight. I can only imagine what you could do if it was not virtual, but in person.
Well,
Great
I've done this. I think everybody here has done this with us over the course of the last few years, especially say at Cornelia Street or La Poussin Rouge over here, or out at Beyond Baroque, or in Specs Bar in San Francisco. And this is what we do. We do this every year, and this is why we publish this as a labor of love, so that we can get everybody together and supply this kind of energy to the world, and not
Only
the
you were usually much more drunk.
But this is perfect.
Anybody else?
No, let's go walk the